Hi guys, Petko here. Today we're going to talk about one of the most important things that we have been preparing for the past few weeks. If you guys have already seen our Twitch, today is going to be the official update to the tier list on YouTube. We already did it on Twitch, but this week I decided it's time to show you guys on YouTube what I've been working and cooking off. We're going to start by saying that I have tested majority of those classes myself on the keys around 10, which right now are pretty hard, by the way, in the world within because they changed the scaling. I spoke to a lot of theory crafters as well as guide writers, so everything that I'm going to combine today on my own effort and the effort of the community, and we're going to bring you what I believe is a piece of work that's going to help you choose your main, or in general help you make your judgment in a long way. Now, keep in mind this is targeting a casual player, slightly above casual player, so if you're extremely high-end player, you might just want to skip that one or watch it just for your own interest. In other words, we try our best to show you what I've been doing so far. If you guys like it, drop a follow. And yeah, let's begin. Oh, side note, this is getting updated every single week on a Sunday at 2 o'clock on our stream. Links down below. And this is not going to be the final thing. There's going to be a lot more changes coming in. Yes, likely things are going to change. And what is good today might not be good tomorrow. Keep that in mind when you're making your decision what to play. It's still early. There's still a month and a half before expansion comes out. So yeah, enjoy, and I'll see you guys on stream. All right, I'm gonna start by pretty much using one rankings for tanks, healers, and DPS, so I don't have to do three separately. So I'm gonna throw in tanks as well as healers on that graph myself. But starting with the very bottom underperforming specs right now, there are only a few underperforming specs, if I gotta be quite honest with you. One of them is gonna be Destruction Warlock. Currently, in my opinion, Destruction Warlock is struggling quite a bit, especially in Mythic Plus. Now, their single target is also quite below average or around average. Depending on the pose you're gonna do, this could be actually quite good. So, for example, if you do like large pose and you have cooldowns, yes, you're still gonna be amazing, but off cooldowns, you are pretty much doing tank damage, or sometimes even below tank damage, considering the amount of targets you're pulling. Now, for your average Mythic Plus, pucks don't ever pull like 2 or 3 packs together. Sometimes they do 2 packs, but the mobs are never exceeding between 6 and 8. Sometimes, rarely more than 8. So, yeah, this pick can still shine if you pull big around cooldowns, but other than that, current damage profile is quite underperforming. Keep in mind that the utility has not changed. They're still great there. They're very tanky spec, and quite honestly, if they were to be buffed a little bit damage-wise, they will climb higher the rankings. 1 second. Okay. I'm ready. All right. So next in line is gonna be Havoc DH. Havoc DH, in my opinion, right now are one of the hardest specs to play in Mythic Plus. Quite a lot of min-max. Unfortunately, quite ungrateful. The damage profile is once again underperforming. The change of the tier set, honestly, has been, in my opinion, not as good of a change. And I do believe that if these get to be buffed a little bit, then just like Destro Warlock, they will climb a lot higher because they have everything in their toolkit. They have a good utility, they have good defensive, and most importantly, one of the highest mobility in the game that syncs with a lot of casters due to Chaos Brand. But in my opinion, right now, damage profile is not there, and the rotation is quite bloated. Not that fun to play either. Well, it's fun because you're dashing, but the whole rotation makes it not as fun. So I'm expecting here a bit of a changes coming to a Havoc, perhaps in the near future. If not, then I would see that as one of the underperforming specs in Mythic Plus within the next year. Next in line is going to be Outlaw Rogue. In my opinion, Outlaw Rogue right now, once again, is struggling to pretty much have any sort of adequate damage profile. Burst-wise orientated, quite weak. Mass target is still capped. Single target, mediocre, if not below average. Now, if you pull like, let's say 3 to 6 targets, 3 to 7 targets, and they live for longer, you can still catch up with the rest of the folks. Also, one of the hardest specs to play in Mythic Plus. Keep that in mind. A lot of people don't know how to play this spec because it's very hard. Utility-wise, they're amazing. Nice mob control. You know, you have a lot of tools for your party to help them, to stop casts, etc. Shroud is also quite useful. Poisons, again, poisons for rogues are their signature. Utility has not changed. They did not get anything new, and defensive only got better. So yeah, if this was to get tuned, once again, uncap Blade Flurry, give them more damage, change the rotation, something, then in my opinion, the spec is gonna climb higher, much faster than the rest. Alright, next in line is a spec that used to be my favorite spec back in the day, and I still love to play it, BMHunter. In my opinion, BMHunter, at least in Mythic Plus, quite underperforming. During the major cooldowns, they would do fantastic, but off cooldowns, not only they struggle with focus generation, and that's probably due to low secondary stats because again, it's a first season, but also rotation is quite blunt. Has never changed for the past. It's been like what? It's been like 2-3 years, even more than that. So honestly, I'm very disappointed to play BMHunter. It feels not only boring, but it's quite weak outside of cooldowns. Although I could see that being better than underperforming in raiding due to their single target. But at least with Mythic Plus right now, with the Mythic Plus talents, not a spec that I'm a fan of, and I'm not a spec that I'm looking forward to play. Next in line is Feral Druid. This is gonna be the last spec in underperforming. Feral Druid have a mediocre damage profile, which is the only reason why they're here. I do believe, once again, you have a great utility, like Mark the Wild itself is insane. You have Speed Roar, Incap Roar, single target stuns, you know, Innervate if you want to, Mass Root, Suit, you know, Battle Race, a bunch of shit that you can help your team with, Peel the tank as well. But that toolkit doesn't mean anything if your damage profile is mediocre, so we expect more changes on behalf of Feral. If not, then Feral is going to be one of the underperforming specs within the War Within expansion. Alright, starting with the average, need more tuning. I'm going to start here first with the tanks and healers. In my opinion, the worst healer currently on the War Within beta right now has been Disc Priest. Honestly, the throughput of Disc Priest, especially HPS wise, it feels quite concerning. Not only you are one of the hardest, if not the hardest hitters to play, because you need to be like predictive hitter rather than reactive hitter, but also your output itself is quite bad right now. Oh, I wouldn't say bad, but like, you know, mediocre at best. Although your utility has not changed, Priest utility is insane. You have a double pain sub, you have a barrier, for example. You can rupture big shields, etc. Stamina buff, you know, Mind Suit, PI. The general output is quite low. That's why I don't believe you are in a conversation currently for anywhere higher than average. Gonna go with the tanks right now. Protection Paladin feels, in my opinion, one of the worst to play currently. They are quite squishy. They are quite squishy right now. Damage output is not impressive. Durability wise is also, well, once again, a question mark there. Although your utility is in a good state. The only thing that's changed in utility is actually your retribution aura being removed. Actually, it's been removed from all the paladin specs, keep that in mind. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, and I hope to see a further tuning on a protection paladin. They have the toolkit to climb much higher, they just need more tuning. Next in line is gonna be Vengeance DH. Honestly, Vengeance DH, in my opinion, compared to Dragonflight, is a night and day. In Dragonflight, the tier set, the reward double sigils was so good. Right now, tier set is not looking as impressive. It's a lot harder to play compared to Dragonflight. They removed double sigil. You don't have like double silence, double fear, you know, chains, etc. The only double sigil you have is the flame, which is only small DPS increase on top. But yeah, I'm quite disappointed to see that. But again, if the meta is full caster orientated damage profile, then Vengeance could climb much higher than that. At yet, right now, we are uncertain what is going to be the meta because we're very far away from the expansion release. So yeah, not impressed, and I hope to see further tuning here on behalf of damage and durability. And I would say most important durability, and after that, everything else. Alright, speaking about DPS, the Arms Warrior takes the cake here. Arms Warrior goes to average. Honestly, compared to your sibling spec Fury, I don't see any incentive for playing Arms right now. It is quite disappointing playing it, but overall tuning hasn't arrived for Arms, I believe. I do believe in the near future they will add a lot more changes to that spec, especially on damage profile. Utility wise, you're also, in my opinion, the worst in the game so far. Now people are gonna tell me, oh yeah, but what about Battle Shout? Battle Shot is gonna be only good if you play full melee squad. If you don't play full melee squad, then it is honestly not as impressive right now. Also, keep in mind things like Rallying Cry, Spell Reflect, etc. are useful, but in Mythic Plus environment, there are a lot better options out there than that. In raiding, I do believe that they have better value, but in Mythic Plus right now, one of the weakest in utility compared to most other classes. Also, compared to your Fury spec, you're less tanky, so you're a bit more squishy too. So keep that also in mind. Alright, next in line is going to be Devastation Evoker. Again, Devastation Evoker, not impressive damage profile. They still retain their nice burst oriented damage. Sustain 1 is pretty low though. I don't like that at all. 3 targets got much better right now, which was previously a small problem. Utility has been unchanged. The only thing that is changing is the Paradox getting to a baseline general Evoker talent, which is actually a good thing for them. But again, not only you struggle to maintain good DPS off cooldowns, but also you have the least range across all healers. Across all DPS. You're like 25 range right now on your offensive spells, which is, could be problematic. Oh, not on every spell. There's some spells that are higher than that. But majority of your offensive spells are capped to 25 yards, which is something that I don't understand. Why is that? Perhaps that could be reverted in the future. But yeah, for now, I'm not a big fan of that. Last but not least, now people are gonna put some question marks here when I'm gonna say this, but next in line, in my opinion, is gonna be Hunter. Now, Hunter placement is gonna go much higher when you play, for example, your lower level keys. High level keys is gonna be different, but yeah, your single target is kind of, I would say, average single target. Damage off cooldowns is also quite average. Damage with cooldowns is going to a good choice. Hands down, a good choice doing that. The only reason why I'm putting it here is because I consider both worlds. I consider also lower level keys and mid level keys. And for mid level keys, I don't think you're anywhere higher than either average or decent. Again, this is gonna be probably updated in the future. You could end up being in a decent right now. But for the sake of the tier list, I'm gonna put you right now on average, with a very high chance of you jumping tier next week, etc. I just need to reevaluate all the specs once again. But yeah, Hunter, before the nerfs, they got nerfed twice, especially Sentinel. It was around very strong or turbo good, but they got nerfed twice in a row. So right now, I would say around average, with a possibility of climbing much higher than that, probably around decent. Alright, that's about this category. We're going to a decent category right now. We're talking about a Discipline Priest being the... Sorry. Alright, Alright, next in line, guys. Decent specs. From here onwards, things are getting much better. Next in line, I'm going to talk about healers and tanks first. The P Evoker. In my opinion, P Evoker is a lot better than Disc. Not only from healing output, but damage-wise as well. They're getting quite there. Your tier set got most recently changed because yours wasn't that good, and the new tier set is also not amazing, but it's better than before. Healing and the DPS output both are great in my opinion. Well, not to over exaggerate, but they're decent. They're decent. You can't complain. Utility is still as strong. Nothing has changed except for the Paradox. I mentioned that one. And yeah, defensive. Again, they have double obsidian scale, so it is quite hard to die as Evoker, especially if you use your Twin Guardian Shield, Rescue on cooldown, and have a double wall, and also Zephyr in case things go dicey. Yeah, overall, good change. Again, you're struggling to heal when the targets are not stacked together, especially if they spread, so you benefit a lot more from stacking people. So if you have a melee squad, this could be better playing. If you have a full range squad and they're all over the place, you are gonna be struggling for real. But overall, I think it's the decent choice for now. Alright, next in line is also gonna be quite questionable. You guys might be like putting question marks in the chat, but I do believe BrewMaster gets the cake here. You're definitely decent. You have gotten a lot better since Dragonflight. Your damage profile is even more impressive. You got tankier in my opinion, but squishiness is still there. You are still struggling to lift the higher level keys. Even above average keys, you're still struggling to lift compared to the classes above. Although your utility is actually quite good and you have a good mob control, I do believe decent category right now is good for you. You are ahead right now of Prot. You are ahead of Vengeance. You're, in my opinion, better than before. But are you better than the rest of the tanks right now? I don't think so. Unless they give them more durability, then I'll change my mind. But for now, I would say a decent choice as a tank is actually good for them. As if you compare them to Dragonflight, they came from like the weakest to the decent. I think that's W all around. Alright, now let's go with the DPS. Retribution Paladin goes next. Most definitely decent choice. Your damage profile is quite bursty. Have a nice, good short city burst, which is always good for like low level keys. Your overall damage profile, especially on single target, is quite lackluster. Again, hybrid builds are still an issue for you. You sacrifice a lot of single target to play AoE and vice versa. If you want to play massive ST, your AoE is going to be lacking. Utility wise, nothing has changed. You're insane there, nothing to complain. The only thing is the Retribution Aura got removed, but that's fine. Everything else is still in peace. You are a very tanky spec, quite frankly one of the tankiest. So if there were to be more tuning, then I would say definitely climbing to a good choice, very strong in my opinion. But for now, a decent state of Retribution Paladin. It's a good amount for me to be placed, and I will be reevaluating that in the future in case it got more changes. Alright, now this is going to be very surprised, but Shadow Priest, in my opinion, gets in a decent category. The only reason why I'm putting Shadow here is, although they have a nice package that fits well with the caster meta, they have a great durability as well, and quite honestly, they have been performing quite poorly in the World Within beta so far. Their damage profile is quite weak. During cooldowns, you're getting to a good choice level, but of that cooldowns, you're definitely decent or average at most. Especially if you don't have your 1 minute, or even, yeah, like 1 minute right now. Especially, yeah. I mean, overall, I would expect more tuning on Shadow Priest. I don't think that's the final form. Perhaps down the line, they will change more around their psychic link or just something. For the past couple of 2 updates, they have been nerfing the Entrophic Rift damage, which is still I don't understand. Actually, maybe it was too good for disc, I don't know, but honestly, I would like to see more love on Shadow Priest. Alright, next in line is Enhance. Although Enhance got a few bugs in them, I do believe you are going to be getting in a decent state right now. Overall, Tempest, Stormbringer combo interaction together has been great, especially if you get the bug to get it back to back, Uncapped damage for them from Tempest, which is something that they've been lacking the whole expansion of Dragonflight. Uncapped damage, Tempest is gonna add to that flavor and potentially get them in a much better state. Single target is also looking okay, not too impressive. Overall utility got much better. You got better defensiveness. If the bugs were getting to be resolved, then I would say you're gonna climb higher. Also, you have a new utility, Sky Fury, which is a group-wide buff. I'm quite happy about that one. But yeah, I would expect a lot more changes coming to Enhance, because that's one of the specs that didn't get anything major, honestly, coming from Dragonflight to War Within. So yeah, I would love to see more changes on behalf of Enhance. Also, your tier set got changed quite recently. So not that insane for PC anymore, but it's still very good. Alright, next one is gonna be Frostmage. Frostmage is gonna be the last spec in a decent category. Overall tuning is not there for Frostmage, honestly. You're lackluster for the majority of the part on ST and AoE, not that impressive, but still better than some of the classes right now. Utility is 5 out of 5, insane. Nothing to add there. From one of the most tops to Arcane Intellect. You have immunity as well, nice mobility, and party-wide buffs. Again, Intellect is just absurdly OP with a full caster comp. I would expect to be higher than decent if there were to be more changes right now. But as of now, being decent is actually a good place for them. If we were to be playing high keys, then I would say Frostmage could climb much higher than that, like around good choice probably. But for now speaking, decent is gonna be a something that I like. Alright, chat. Climbing higher. Let's begin with healers and tanks. Next in line, Holy Priest. Holy Priest and a good choice, actually a compliment in my opinion. Their healing profile is going to be just as strong. Nice reactive healing capabilities. Once everything goes down, you can actually focus on healing and help your team. Damage profile is also looking quite good. Utility wise, looking just the same as in Dragonflight, quite impressive. Durability could be a question mark. Mobility is also quite low. But overall, I would say you are in the better half of the specs right now. Next in line is going to be a Protection Warrior. Honestly, Protection Warrior has improved a shit ton compared to Dragonflight. Right now, they are one of the most tanky specs in the game, with a nice burst-oriented damage profile, which can help you with aggro generation. So I'm quite happy to see that. Utility-wise, nothing really has changed for them. Same old, not impressive at all, in my opinion. One of the lowest utility in the game compared to other tanks. Well, if you consider you playing with a full melee squad, then Battle Shot could have more value, but Battle Shot becomes useless if you play with full caster comp or partial caster comp. So yeah, now people could say, you know, if you play like Mountain Taint, for example, you get a nice intervene, small utility, magical shield, but still, you know, there's a lot better things that other tanks can offer. So yeah, I would like to see further changes on behalf of that. All right, so that's about tanks. Let's begin with DPS. Balanced Druid gets the cake here for a good choice. Now, Balanced Druid is kind of a tricky spec to say. Although your durability got better in the War Within, well, slightly better than War Within. Damage profile, especially without Pulsar, kind of feels whack. Now, for the lower level keys, you'll be struggling. Lower level keys, you might end up being around average. But the higher the key goes, the more impressive your damage profile will be ramping. So, I would say a good choice is actually something that I consider okay for you. Utility wise, nothing has changed. Mark the Wild is still one of the strongest party buffs in the game. CR, Mass Root, Innervate, Suit, Stampeding Roar, In-Cap Roar, Single Target Stun if you want to. Mass AoE Beam, which is quite good if you play with a tank that can stack mobs together like Blood Decay or Vengeance. So yeah, overall I would say a good choice is a compliment for them. Hold on. Alright, next in line is gonna be Monk. Monk, in my opinion, with the most recent rework, one of the most fun specs to play in the game. Amazing burst-oriented damage profile, which actually could be very strong for the lower level keys. Sustained damage, however, not the greatest right now. I would like to see that being slightly improved. Utility Toolkit, one of the strongest. As a melee DPS, I really like that. You can peel your tank as well with the Ring of Peace. You have an AoE stun. You have a paralysis as well, which can be another further stop. A removal of poison, a removal of disease. You have a mystic touch, aura. Sorry, you have double aura for healing and also avoidance aura as well, which is quite useful. So overall, a good choice around all monks. I'm quite happy to say that they're looking much better than the Dragonflight. Alright, next in lines are gonna be Sub Rogue and Asa Rogue. I'm gonna begin with Sub Rogue and Asa Rogue right now. Sub Rogue, nothing really major has changed for Sub Rogue in my opinion. Your Hero Talent is quite boring to play. Overall design of the spec, you know, quite disappointing. Speaking purely about power and numbers, they have a nice burst-oriented damage profile and a, you know, good single target right now. Utility of Rock has been unchanged, quite good honestly, and durability they're very strong. I would expect more changes on behalf of the gameplay of Sub Rogue, but if not, I think a good choice is actually a compliment for them. Asa Rogue on the same level. Again, the way you play Asa Rogue, it's gonna be slightly different than before, and to keep in mind that spec gets a lot higher ranking on a high level keys because mobs live longer, and you're genuinely a dot spec, damage over time effects, which on the lower level keys don't last fully and they end up dying before you even do your full damage, which could be quite disappointing. But again, don't forget Garrots, Iron Wire, this utility is immense for most of the time when you play against casters. So I'm quite excited to play Asa Rogue myself, and I do believe on the high level keys you're better than that. But for the sake of the tier list, we're targeting casual player, casual keys, you know. So I think a good choice is a good sphere to be so far. Although, yeah, just put it on good choice for now. Oh, last but not least, I already forgot to mention that Restoration Shaman should be here as well. After the most recent rework to Restoration Shaman, dude, the spec feels way better to play. Like comparing to Dragonflight, where you spend mostly all expansion being bottom hitter, right now being in a good choice and being ahead of a lot of hitters right now, it's a massive improvement in my opinion for you. Honestly, I'm quite excited to play Restoration Shaman. They got better HPS profile, better DPS profile, more utility because of the Sky Fury in general. Shaman baseline talent 3 rework. You have tank here as well. I don't like that your external defensive is still pretty weak. You know, Spirit Link every 3 minutes for a tank, for example, could be quite useless. For a party wide or rate is insane, but yeah, you need to have a strong, you know, DR for your tank or anybody in your team. And Earth Shield is not something that I consider a strong DR cooldown. Well, it's kind of a passive DR, I guess, but you need something that's like a short and give your tank or any other player a DR on demand. Or Vesper Torrent back. Alright, getting to the upper category, very strong. In my opinion, Guardian Druid goes there. One of the better options as a tank right now. Insanely strong when it comes down to mass pulling. Quite durable as well. Utility-wise has also been unchanged. They are always good there. So yeah, I'm very excited to play the Arcane Bear. Arcano Bear, as people like to call it. It's extremely impressive if you want to pull large with this tank. So yeah, I love to play Guardian. Good choice. Very good choice for tank so far. And for the hitters, in my opinion, Monk hitters are out there. Honestly, quite good. Also, they got nerfed slightly this week. Well, I guess the biggest nerf is going to be to the Cocoon. Cocoon got 40% nerf, I believe, 3 days ago, which now becomes quite useless for tanks most of the time. It's still going to be good for DPS. It's still going to be good for hitters. But for a tank, the Absorb Shield is not big enough to be considered a big external. Hence why I believe external is still an issue for you. If that gets to be resolved, then you could climb higher for now. But again, don't forget, nice peel for the tank, AoE stun, Ring of Peace, disease removal, poison removal, mass dispel on poison, disease and magical effects with your revival. You have a double aura as well of healing and avoidance. So yeah, overall, I think you're one of the easiest hitters to play and one of the best if you're a new upcoming hitter player because of your reaction abilities. You can heal targets quite swiftly if you see them dropping low, unlike for something like, for example, Prev Evoker or Disc Priest, where they're a little bit hard to play. I think they have a nice, perfect barrier of entry, and for any newcomer, I recommend you try out Mistweaver. You are gonna be loving that shit. Alright, that's about hitters. Next in line, let's talk about DPS. Fury Warrior is gonna go in a very strong. Honestly, Fury Warrior is quite impressive so far. Their short burst cooldowns are very good. One of the fastest bursts in the game right now, which I'm very, very happy to say that. Single target also got better. AoE, it's insanely good, especially if you consider the whole burst, one of the strongest right now across all melee. However, utility unchanged. They are still quite garbanzo there. In my opinion, one of the lowest across all DPS. So I'm quite sad to say that. I'm quite sad, but honestly, I could see that going all both ways. So yeah, Fury Warrior, probably one of the best melee choices right now, but utility-wise, unfortunately, quite strong. If you pair this with a full melee squad or physical comp, yes, you'll be getting better. But overall, you know, I think very, very strong choice for a warrior is a good amount where people will be happy. Alright, next in line is gonna be Demonology Warlock. Demonology got also a lot better compared to Dragonflight, at least in Mythic Plus. Nice, well balanced spec you have there. Not only have a good burst on damage on behalf of single target and AoE, but also your sustain is pretty good. Again, utility, you've always been good there. Nothing major has changed. You still have your curses, you still have your AoE stun, mortar coils, you have your demonic gateway, hailstones, CR, etc. Nothing has changed there. It's still pretty good. Overall, balance between ST and AoE is great. So I think you're one of the most round classes right now from Mythic Plus. I'm quite happy to play it myself too. Alright, next in line, guys, Survival Hunter. Survival Hunter, quite an impressive performance so far from Mythic Plus, both on single target and AoE. It's looking quite good, quite promising. In my opinion, the best Hunter spec so far in Mythic Plus. By far, you got much better defensiveness, you're much tankier right now. Utility-wise, nothing major has changed there, but again, every other aspect of survival is absolutely crisp good. So being in a very strong bracket is a compliment for them. Last but not least, Unholy Decay, gonna go to a very strong. The only reason why I'm not putting in a turbo good is because you're gonna be in turbo good once you play higher level keys, but for low level keys to mid level keys, I think on behalf of very good is actually good for you, because your ramp up damage profile requires some time and preparation to do full damage, which is something always to play around or consider or think about. But again, if I gotta speak about your overall damage contribution, is excellent. There is nothing to complain on both single target and AoE. Your mini rework has been excellent. Utility got better. AMS now can be used to your party members, just like any other DK spec. Again, you're very tanky as well. One of the tankiest mid specs in the game. So yeah, I mean, overall good choice. Again, if you think about tankiness, like Fortitude, Village-Born, you have a shite, what was that? AMS, MZ, and Necropolis, and more stamina. And you also have, wait, can you consider Death Strike as a utility or defensiveness? Because you can heal yourself with Death Strike, right? I guess you can. Yeah, overall pretty happy with Unholy though. It's quite strong. Alright, chat. We're getting to the very, very good candidates, turbo good. So I'm gonna begin right now with hitters and tanks. Hitters wise, Holy Paladin gets the cake here. Holy Paladin used to be the strongest hitter a few weeks ago, but they got nerfed quite a bit. So I still believe you are insanely valuable in the world we've seen so far, from having one of the best utility in the game, to nice mob control, and also you're the only hitter with immunity. So yeah, overall healing contribution got much better. DPS profile also very impressive. So yeah, Holy Paladin is still a very dominant spec to have, and in my opinion, one of my favorites to play with. Oh, I mean, again, people now gonna say what kind of utility you have. Blessings, Sack, Lay on Hands, Blessing of Freedom, Bop, nice mob control like Hand of Justice, Binding Light, Interrupt as well. You know, Turn Evil if you want to. Disease Dispel, Poison Dispel as well. And I'm probably gonna be missing something, but yeah, overall, I think you are quite good right now. Next in line, in my opinion, the best hitter so far in the Warcraft Team Beta after the buffs is Restoration Druid. From impressive damage profile to much better healing right now, the Restoration Druid is getting the cake, in my opinion, for the best current hitter on Beta. Again, this could change, but overall, I'm very impressed by the amount of healing they could pump after the buffs, and damage profile right now is very competitive too. Utility, nothing has changed. They still have one of the best in the game, utility-wise. Durability only got better, so I do believe Druids are to be considered as one of the best so far, and things could change for them, but for now, I love to play with them. Last but not least, the best tank in my opinion for the casual level keys, slightly above average keys, is Blood Dead Knight. Honestly, quite an impressive damage profile, quite an impressive durability too, better utility, very tanky too. The only issue I could see with Blood Decay is randomly getting one shot sometimes if you're not prepared, but that's about it. You know, overall, I don't see any other complaint on behalf of Blood Decay. Very, very strong everywhere, so I'm very happy to play with them. Alright, in behalf of DPS, guys, there's a few more specs to line up here. So let's go with Affliction Warlock. Affliction Warlock right now, compared to Dragonflight, is a night and day. The rework has made Affliction Warlock so fun to play. Their burst-oriented damage profile is insanely strong. Nice sustained damage, short cooldown cities like 1 minute, for example. Dots are hitting so hard. You know, utility has been pretty much the same. Nothing has changed there, except if you play Hell Color, you can have 2 curses in one. I think it's called Curse of the Satyr, where you can have the exhaustion, Curse of Tongues combined together with the Curse of Weakness. So very strong there too, especially if you use the amplified curses yourself. So I'm quite happy to play Affliction. In my opinion, one of the best range right now, and it's very, very strong. Alright, next in line is gonna be Ench Shaman. Dude, Ench Shaman got the rework of their lifetime. Although your damage profile right now is a little bit over exaggerated because of your bugs. I believe if they fix all of your damage buffs, you might drop to very strong. But for now, speaking with the bugs you have and appearing with your ecos, a turbo good candidate is good. If you guys have seen my Twitch profile or in general YouTube videos, Ellie right now is a menace. From a nice, insane AoE damage to insane single target, better durability, better utility as well, nice good amount of stops as well, one of the shortest kicks in the game, if not the shortest. Well, it is the shortest, sorry. So yeah, overall Elemental is very, very impressive so far on meters, and I'm happy to say that, but I'll be maining this in the next expansion unless something major changes. But yeah, for now, chef's kiss, you know, love it. Very good. Last but not least, actually no, sorry, the two more specs here. Frost Deathknight. Once again, coming from Dragonflight, Frost Deathknight has been night and day difference. Your damage profile is one of the strongest in the game right now because of your instantaneous burst damage oriented measurements. Yeah, your small cooldowns, like short cooldowns, are something that helps you to play pretty much every pack to pack and have a good damage profile. So yeah, right now if you play the Oblit build, you're doing insane. Utility got better, defensiveness you're insane. Mob control is also good. Nothing has changed there, honestly. But yeah, overall Frost Decay is, in my opinion, right now the strongest melee in the game, and damage profile is like above impressive. So turbo good. Last but not least, chat, Fire Mage gets the cake here too. Fire Magus, especially if you play with a caster comp, is extremely dangerous to watch out for. As a standalone itself, not as impressive, but again, you can never count out Fire Mage out of your group, especially if you combine this with the rest of the meta specs, or in general other casters or Augmentation Evoker. Right now, one thing that I love about Fire Mage is a living bomb gameplay. The nice front load burst can help you play even on a low level keys, where previously playing Ignite build on low level keys was quite disappointing for you. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy to play with Fire Mage. Nice utility, one of the best in the game, one of the tankiest specs in the game, one of the best mob controls in the game. Can't really complain about Fire Mage. Honestly, has been quite dominant pretty much throughout the whole expansion in Dragonflight, and now it's looking to be still very good in the War Within. Last but not least, the very top of the bracket, Arcane Mage, and Oak Evoker. I'm gonna begin with Arcane Mage. Arcane Mage right now, even though got nerfed, has one of the highest single target in the game right now, above impressive. Your burst oriented damage profile is absolutely crazy. Like if you manage to do your full burst, by the time the mobs actually live, there is pretty much one or two specs that can beat you in that. Your sustained damage from pack to pack sometimes could be lackluster, but that's if the pack dies very fast. Other than that, you are the perfect candidate for the high level keys, mid level keys as well. One of the best utilities in the game, one of the tankiest specs in the game, nice mob control. You know, you also got a bit easier to play compared to Dragonflight, so you're more friendly to newcomers. Honestly, right now, you're turbo broken, in my opinion. And last is gonna be Augmentation Evoker. My god, Augmentation only got stronger in the War Within. They're not only gonna do more damage, personal damage, but they still gonna retain their nice buffs to the party, where they're gonna increase your party's damage and your party durability. You're gonna help your healer be healing more. You're gonna help your tank being more tanky and do more damage, which can help them with aggro too. You can help your DPS players to do more damage and also be more durable. If you have one of the best utility in the game, again, Zephyr, Poison Dispel, Disease Dispel, Bleed Dispel, Magical Dispel, Curse Dispel. Nice bolt stops, knock up, pushback effect. For example, you have a stun, mass suit for the target. You have a bloodlust as well, spatial paradox, for example. You know, you have so much utility, and that I didn't mention half of it, but that's just part of it. You know, overall, I'm very, very, very impressed by Augmentation, and I do believe if you are looking to play Oak, it is only looking to be stronger in the War Within. Alright, chat, that's everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and keep in mind, every single Sunday at 2 o'clock Central European time, yes, even today, we will be recording live on stream the update on the tier list. This is the first time I'm doing this on YouTube. Keep in mind, I'm gonna try to be consistent, and every single Sunday or Monday uploaded the highlights of the stream where we'll be doing it. Today, I wanted to take my special time and just talk about all the specs privately with you before I put it on Twitch. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for the comments, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.